What's up, and welcome back to the Kinda Funny Gamescast. Of course, I'm Tim Geddes, and I'm joined by the new face of video games, Blessing Adeoye Jr.
What's up, Tim?
Nothing much, Bless. Nothing much indeed. Joining us as well, we got the big daddy, Greg Miller.
Just working on where I'm going to put some Game Awards votes. Don't worry
Ooh,
Wow.
wow, that's fun.
Can you give me the inside scoop?
Scoop it away, Greg?
Let's just say Jeff spelled backwards equals success.
Reg? Or Veg?
Well, no, you know, Jeff Keighley spelled like Jeff.
Are you saying Jeff spelled backwards?
Vogue?
Vogue. Vogue.
Fogo de Chao.
Bogo de Chow.
Have you ever like Brazilian steakhouses?
Never been there. Never been there.
Wow, really?
They're really expensive.
They're really good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time
I was gonna say the only time I've ever been to one is the one my mom's like, let's go to this Brazilian steakhouse. Which one? I'm not cracking the
I
wall.
would always drive by it, and I heard that, like, Andy, if you want to really impress a date, you take them to
That's
Fogo
not
de
true.
Chao. And I was
That's not
like,
true.
all right, but I live in Austin right now, and I'm working at Best Buy, and that's a lot of money.
They're gonna be. You get so full because you can't stop eating.
You just can't
You
stop.
got this little coaster you flip over. It's green or red, and then they come by and they cut off the meat for you.
You got like a game or something? What do you
Yeah.
mean?
It's green means
Go.
go, and red means stop.
Red means red meat.
Yeah. And the guys come around with a bunch of meat. They just give you unlimited meat.
Wow.
It's fantastic. I went for my birthday last year, and it was Cool Greg's first time.
He
never
wasn't ready
seen
for
him
that. He
done it.
wasn't ready for
Oh,
that.
he was. I don't think a week's went by that he hasn't brought that up to me since we've been there. Like, it is like a transformative experience. Like, but it also is one of those things where when you're eating it, you're like, all right, the quality level of this meat it can't be that high.
Oh,
you know?
I see what you're saying.
Oh, really? I thought when the first time I went to Brazilian Steakhouse, which I think at this point is probably about 10 months ago, I didn't believe it when I got there because I was like, because friends took me there. They're like, hey, we're gonna treat you. This is after I got Forbes 30 under 30, just like Tim Geddes. And thank you.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
That
Appreciate it.
happened?
Yeah. It was
Wow.
like December. It was crazy.
That was like 12 years after Greg got a Game Award, right?
Yeah, but like also, what was the last time Greg won a thing?
Yeah. About 12
Funny
years
World
It's
Championship. Don't
Yearly,
worry about it.
I'm winning.
Clean your
things
fucking glasses.
every single- Thanks, I appreciate it.
Goddamn disgusting.
Legitimately though, I couldn't believe just like the process of this thing of like, yeah, you put green for go, red for stop.
That sounds
and they'll just
like
keep
cool.
bringing you out meat forever. Like there's no stoppage.
What
time
does
on
yellow
this thing.
do?
Bring bread.
They bring
Chill
a
out,
puke
like,
bag. Yeah. You on the fence?
But yeah, Andy, we should do it sometime. I feel like now that you have your House of Prime Rib cherry pop,
Right,
we
that
might
was
need
crazy.
to Brazil it up.
That was a wild experience.
Well,
Little.
Yeah.
But that'll have to wait because this is the Kinda Funny Gamescast. Each and every week we get together to talk about video games and all the things that we love about them. And there's a lot to love right now because it is review season, everybody. And we are going to be reviewing, and we have been reviewing a ton of the hottest games coming out. You can get all of this on youtube.com/kindafunnygames or roosterteeth.com. You can also get it as a podcast by searching your favorite podcast service for Kinda Funny Gamescast. And we'll be right there for you. If you wanted to get the show ad-free, though, and if you wanted to watch live as we record it, where do they need to go, Andy?
Patreon.com/kindafunnygames.
I like glad you took a hit right before you do that. Patreon.
I panicked.
That is exactly right. You got to go to patreon.com/kindafunny to get the show ad-free and watch live as we record it, just like our Patreon producers, Fargo Brady, Delaney Twining, Holy Crumpets, James Hastings, and Casey Andrew have all done. We appreciate you all so very, very much. If you don't have bucks to toss our way, that's totally cool. When you're out on the Epic Game Store, use our creator code KindaFunny on all of your purchases, and it will help support us. Even if you're buying free games out there, just use our code, and it helps get us money. It's really damn cool. I'm really impressed by all of that. Today, we're brought to you by Policy Genius and the official The Lord of the Rings of Power podcast, but we'll talk about that later. I want to get into something we didn't get to cover last week, Andy, and that is A Plague's Tale. Now, here's the situation. I know you've been playing, you beat the first one, you're working on the second one. Greg got a little time in, but I want to start with Andy. Give me your Plagues experience.
So I decided to play part 1 because I knew part 2 was coming up, and I know a lot of people love part 1, and I always hear like, oh, you got to play it, you got to play it, you got to play it. And I was kind of uneasy going in. Is it going to be a little too spooky for me? It's not. If there's anybody out there who's like me who does not love, scary experiences, it's a little kind of freaky at times. It's gory. It's definitely a game that does such a great job at making you smell what's happening on screen. because so often there's like dead bodies everywhere, and the character's like, "Oh my god, this is awful," and you're just like, "I can smell this." Like I'm gagging with you, character. I love the characters in this game. I love their back and forths. I love their relationships. They make you care about Amicia, what do we go, Amicia? But then so I thought they changed the actors, Greg, going into
These kids just got older.
Requiem. No, they just told them to speak a different accent. To use
nice.
a different, because like the whole time it sounds like French people doing or speaking English, and in Requiem they just straight up sound British now. And some people are like, "Andy, you're crazy," and some people are like, "Wow, what a weird accent change and what a weird choice this was." So I thought.
So did you look into it, or are you you're just making the declarative statement they changed the accents and they're
No, I mean I can hear it. Like everybody kind
Some
of
people can't though.
Everybody just sounded like they were French people speaking English, and then now everybody's like, "Oh my goodness, what do we go from here?" And everybody's English now, and it's like, what did you all do? Did they? No, they didn't recast anybody. Different accents. Very, very odd.
I feel like this is honestly just Andy sliding in that he could do all these accents and he wants to be in a Plague Tale 3.
Amicia, what do we go from here, Amicia? This is a French accent.
Mommy said we shouldn't do it.
Master Skywalker, what are we going
Master
to do?
Skywalker, what we got to do? That's my really good impression. That's my really good. They're everywhere, what we got to do? Anyway, I know Greg's
Michael
issues.
Caine.
What we gonna do, Master Skywalker? Greg's
Damn.
big issue.
Killing it today.
Thank you, bud. Greg's issue
This
with
is
the
the
game.
real. This is the episode he just sends the future
You're like
voice.
18 accents.
Everybody
in
ship
5
this shit out.
seconds.
Everybody ship this shit out. Greg was letting me know his feelings before I ever hopped into the game, and he said that it felt like a video game, and I know exactly what you mean by that. Like, you don't. It feels very much like if this, then this mechanic. If this, then this mechanic.
The way I've talked about it, because I'm gonna let you go.
Go ahead.
That is, I feel like it wears its game design on its sleeve. And for me, it's just that you walk into a room and you're like, all right, big old thing of meat hanging over there, an empty fire thing there, so I'm going to go there to there to there to boom. And it's like, for me, that steals the magic of it, of feeling like I'm in the world.
It's and I have that sort of same thought, and I've brought it up before of the way Jedi Fallen Order wore its level design on its sleeve, where you walk into a level, it's like, I could see the gray box placement of all of this. Like,
Sure.
You take away the textures, and I could see like somebody designing this as a level. And I totally understand what you mean, but I'm not trying to do the hey, if you want to watch Clone Wars or whatever, you just got to watch 4 episodes here and 6 episodes here and 6 episodes there and 12 episodes. You know, I'm not trying to do that anime
I don't
thing.
need catchphrases like that right
you
now.
know, Baritone is like everybody watch Rebels, but you got to watch these 4, and that's
No,
Yeah,
you
I'm
just
going
get-
to
no,
print
you
off
watch
this.
all
I'll
the
print
Rebels.
off your list. I'll laminate the card for you, and these are the ones that go there.
hold it with you at all times. I do think it takes a while to get going and open up. Because I agreed with you at the beginning. I do feel like it does wear its game design on its sleeve. But after a while, you have a lot more tools at your disposal and a lot more mechanics and abilities. And it opens up in a really fun way to where you legitimately kind of have this playground with abilities that you can use. Playground.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm killing it right now.
Are you allowed to free choose what you want to do, or is it still very much
Yes.
fun?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, there are several different ways to take out enemies. It isn't just he's carrying that torch, and if you knock out the torch, then all the rats go attack it. By the way, A Plague Tale is a game where there's just a shitload of rats everywhere, all over the place, and they do not like light. So if you're holding a torch, they're trying to attack you, but you have a little thing, and if you want to get over there, you can throw a fire thing, and it'll light that torch, and then you can now walk over there without the rats attacking you. But the arenas get much more complex, and the enemy kind of like, it's very much a stealth game, so the enemy's timings will change every once in a while, and it opens up in a much better way than it was at the beginning, because it felt very paint by numbers in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm playing Requiem right now, and it's very, very similar. Aside from the voice acting kind of throwing me off or whatever, but visuals are amazing. Like, you open this game up, and it looks like the Unreal 5 demo of, like, check out what we can do with nanites or whatever the fuck they're talking about in Unreal 5. Like, they've always had really, really good character art. None of this is a cutscene. That's just straight up, like, in-game stuff. Wow. It's a really, really good-looking game.
This is a cutscene, though.
No, this is in-engine
It's not like
stuff.
pre-rendered.
I'm just
Yeah.
being clear. You're not in control there for people who are watching and don't know.
All right, chill the fuck. Oh, clean your glasses, dude. Clean your fucking glasses. No, but I think the game is absolutely great, and it's worth it. And I'm happy that I played it because I got to experience a really cool story with characters that I immediately grew to care about, and they aren't afraid of doing like we're gonna kill off a character that you may love, so beware of that. And this game is not gonna take it easy on you in that way.
Is the story
Are those seriously all just rats?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, it is just
It's
swarms
not,
of rats.
Yeah, and it's not, like obviously Plague Tale makes you think of the bubonic plague or something like that. Obviously there's inspirations and they want you to think that way, but there's a supernatural element happening here of why there's so many rats and what they're doing, and they're coming out of these crazy monster holes, and your family's tied up in all
Yeah, but there are just really, really cool things sometimes where you see guards and it's like, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to throw a pot on this part to distract that guard, or he's holding a torch? He thinks he's safe. I can knock the torch out of his hand, or I have this new ability to knock out fire, to extinguish fire, or I have abilities to light things on fire, or I have things that'll attract rats to certain areas. So there's like really neat, fun ways to be as brutal as you can possibly be when you just see like 3 guards are like, well, we're gonna fucking kill you, and you just hit them with a bomb that extinguishes the fire, and then the rats just swarm all over them, and you just hear them screaming, and then it's just a pile of bones and meat afterwards. It's really disgusting at times. But I think the game is absolutely great, and I can't wait to continue finishing Requiem. But then a little game called God of War got in the way.
Has it
What an
evolved much
inconvenience.
since the previous one? Because I'm similar to Greg, where I started Plague Tale Innocence, and I played probably about half, maybe a little bit more than half of the game before I was like, all right, this is cool, but I don't think it's as much for me. But then I remember watching the trailer for Requiem probably a few months ago at, I think it was either Xbox Showcase or one of these showcases, and I was blown away because it looked like there was a lot more combat and a lot more happening gameplay mechanic-wise in the game. Is there more combat? Is there like heavier emphasis on combat? Like, is there any gameplay enhancements that they've had for this one?
I haven't gotten to that yet, because I did notice in that trailer the main character, Amicia, like, hit a dude with a club, and I haven't seen anything like that. They've taken away some of the annoyances that may have been bothersome, where as soon as a guard would see you, they would just run to you, and then it cuts to a little cutscene, and you get plopped in the fucking face, or they, like, axe you in the head, and it's game over, right? But here you have the chance to evade them in a way that doesn't feel like, oh, I got caught, might as well just put the controller down and wait for the next
You can run
restart.
from them. You can break sight and get them back into a guard rotation.
Correct, yeah, and I feel like it's a little bit of those things that they have changed to improve the experience. Other than that, Bless, I don't think they've evolved the game in a gigantic, meaningful way, but I also think that's to its betterment. Like, I don't know if it necessarily needed to do that. I think early on it is definitely slower, and it picks up maybe 3 or 4 hours in, I would say. But for a game that I was like, all right, we'll see how part 2 goes. I'll play through part 1, see if I like it, and I ended up really, really digging it. Good
Great.
video game. Everybody play part 1, and then part 2 is on Game Pass if you have Xbox.
On to you. What are you thinking of Plague Tale?
And it's only 30 frames on console, which fucking sucks. So I put it at the PC version, and I'm getting, like I should be, because PC is best.
Yeah, I think for Requiem, I think of the same things I thought of Innocence, where it's just not for me. I did the exact same thing, I think, where I did 4 or 5 chapters, and I was hoping that from the trailers, I'd always heard, especially from the audience too, that like, oh man, Greg, you would love Innocence. It's a Greg game, you know what I mean? It's story-based, it's stealthy, it's all these things. It reminds me of Naughty Dog, even though obviously it's a more of a AA studio with, than what Naughty Dog is. And I remember playing it back in the day and just never clicking, never getting into it, feeling, it is very mechanical of like, okay, if this, then that, as you said. And so having seen the trailers for it, I was like, I'm interested. I'm hoping that they've taken the criticisms they had, and we're going to start with a Amicia that is further along in her journey and maybe is more active and stuff in terms of going on the offensive, in terms of what she can do here. And for me, it was the same thing for 4 or 5 chapters. Like, oh, it's starting very much how it starts the first time around. Yeah, I'm learning things. I'm getting the ability to snuff fire, but it's still like, for me jumping in, I would hope we would have had more control over the rats or what that power is, you know what I mean? Especially because I watched a recap of like, well, so what was this? I only know the beginning of the game. Where do we go? I watched the in 5 minutes version of the first one where I was like, holy shit, this is straight up like a PS2, PS3 story. I was just like, all right, guys. Oh, suddenly it's fucking insane. And the fucking Pope has his own white rats that are fighting the black rats. You're like, all right.
It's straight to become like similar to the way Kirby evolves, and then towards the end, it's like anime God fight. Like, that's kind of the level of how it continues to ramp up.
Whoa.
But yeah, I don't want to spoil the first one, but I feel like it's almost a Captain Marvel thing in the MCU. Well, if she's just around, she could just fuck everybody up, and
Sure.
So like they have to work around that because by the end of it, you are able to control the rats in a way.
I remember, I think it was like 2018 when Innocence came out, and towards the end of the year, when I was doing OK Beast, we were doing like our OK Beast Game of the Year discussions, and I had played some of Plague Tale Innocence for that, and I remember falling off, but then having our Game of the Year arguments or whatever, and like I think they were arguing for best story for Plague Tale Innocence, and I was like, all right, you guys got to sell me on this. Like, just spoil me on the game. Just spoil me. Tell me what happens. And I didn't believe what came out of their mouths.
Yeah.
Based on the first half of the game that I had just played, I was like, are you sure we're describing the same game here? Like, that's the level of insane that game apparently is too.
And I had seen Lucy James tweet about, wow, you all weren't lying about that final chapter of Plague Tale. Like, it gets insanely difficult. I guess I'm just a gamer. So I don't know. Like, I'm just a crazy good gamer. So I didn't have the frustrations, luckily. But I still have...
Gamer.
I still have all the moments where I'm getting caught like an idiot in the stealth sections, like where I just think like, oh, I should be good right now. There was a fucking great moment where I'm leading a dude who has a little torch, and I'm trying to bring him towards rats. I was like, oh, check this shit out. I'm about to pop off. This guy's going down. He's got a little torch. And I'm leading him towards this place, but I also didn't really recognize that there was also a stand-up torch kind of nearby where I was.
Sure.
So the guy came by, and I knocked the torch out of his hand, but the other torch was still there lighting him, so he was safe. And I was like, ah, shit. And the guy just had a spear, and he just jumped into my chest, and it just impaled me, and it was game over. So there's a lot of moments like that where you think you might have outsmarted them, and then annoyingly the people can just like, hurl a fucking machete at you or whatever. It can get frustrating in some moments. I think the game is still well worth your time, and I'd recommend people play it for sure.
Bless, are you interested in getting back to the second one at all, or?
No, I think I'm good. And that's based off of talking to Greg about earlier, where I think me and Greg had very similar reactions to the original game, and asking Greg like, yo, what do you think of the new one? Hearing his impressions, I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I can probably trust you with this because we're coming from the same place. Like, if Requiem seemed like it was doing like more of a revamp of, all right, cool, now we're adding new mechanics, new all this stuff. Not that it has to do that to be better or anything, because I think the audience that likes it really likes it for what it is. But for me, as somebody who didn't love the first game, I don't think them doing more of the same is necessarily going to speak to me.
Yeah, again, it's for me.
Plus 30 frames. I wouldn't recommend that on anybody.
Like, I would wish that on my worst friend.
Yeah.
And so it's the idea of like that, and like I feel like how even beyond walking into the room and seeing it, then it is the not on rails, but like feeling like you're clunky and you're moving around and what the enemy is going to do and how to get around them and what I want to do that or how do I want to move it. It doesn't feel seamless. It doesn't feel natural to me. It just takes me out of the experience because I'm like, well, I'm just playing a game. And at that point, I'm like, well, stealth is more fun in Assassin's Creed. Like, start listening, oh, why don't I go play that thing? And it's like, well, the story's interesting here, but I don't even feel like the start of this one has good emotional beats and moments, I think, but I don't think I'm interested in terms of like, what are you trying to do? Where are you trying to go? It feels somewhat similar to what we've done before with this. And then there's like really great moments in it. In the trailer we watched, right, there's this moment where Amicia is running away and the rats are like just destroying buildings and stuff. Like, that was an epic moment. Like, nothing to take away from the game or anything, where I was like, oh man, that was really cool and that felt exciting. But it was one of the few times I felt excited in the game.
And as gorgeous as it is, you still see the double anus in a lot of different.
And I was gonna say, yeah, that's my thing. It was like, I think like when you see images from it, and even certain things, yeah, I think it looks beautiful. But then I think again, it gets clunky in motion, where it's like
I don't
the
disagree
rats
with that. Yeah.
always the way the rats move reminds me so much of Minecraft Water or Lava, where it moves in like a block and you see it tumble, because like the rats are like, sometimes if you're paying attention, they run into walls and then they like shift up their textures. And I understand you're doing thousands of rats, you're going for something, there's gonna be a sacrifice in quality there, but again, it speaks back to just the double anus of it.
Yeah, anus.
Anus.
Funny enough, I heard anus before I realized that he meant double A-ness, and I was like, I really wonder where he's going with this thought.
Moving on from Plague's Tale, Bless, you've been playing Bayonetta 3.
I have
Not
been.
too much of it, but
No.
I want your thoughts so far, and are you planning to keep with it?
So I played about 4 to 5 hours of Bayonetta 3 so far. I don't know how much more of it I'm gonna play. I want to play more of it. Like, I'm having a blast with it. It's just one of those ones that could be a victim to review season as we're in it right now and have just so many games that we're playing. That said, playing Bayonetta 3 reminds me of playing Astral Chain back in the day, where a lot of those similar types of trappings are getting me into this one as well. Where I loved Astral Chain, right? I loved it for the combat. I thought the combat system was super unique and fun. I thought the style of it really carried it in terms of what the UI looked like, in terms of what the soundtrack was bringing. Like, that game had a lot going for it in terms of just pure style, and that style sold me a lot. And of course, that was platinum as well, and this is platinum here again. And I'm starting to, I think I talked to you about this earlier, that like, I'm a platinum person. Like, platinum games, like, this is my kind of developer when it comes to the kind of action games that they're putting out. Just in terms of like, yo, let's make a video game as video game and make it look good, make it fun, make it crazy. And so far, again, I am 4 to 5 hours into the story and have no idea what is happening, and I'm very okay with that, because every single story beat they hit just feels absolutely chaotic and absolutely unhinged. Right, like, people are turning into monsters, people are summoning monsters, people are, people are taking their clothes off and transforming into witches.
Hell yeah.
Like, there is so much, like, batshit insane, just magical shit going on, but then also a lot of, like, just crazy ass, like, sexy shit going on in the game. Like, I have, as we're approaching this, right, I like started typing down, like, okay, what are the talking points I want to talk about when it comes to Bayonetta 3? And the first one I put down was just sex.
Oh yeah,
like,
a lot of sex.
At every turn, I feel like there is some wild, just fucking sexy thing going on in terms of like camera angles and Bayonetta doing a costume change in ways where I'm like, whoa, like, I gotta hide my screen real quick. I can't let my coworker see this while I'm playing at work.
No, she calls over for that.
Yeah, like, this mad crazy shit going on in this
You think
game.
she
Monster Hunter.
You think she's ever gonna get LASIK?
Nah, they're probably not even real.
Gotcha.
No, they're probably real. Like, she doesn't seem like the type that would wear glasses just for the style of it. I feel like she's more of a function over.
Who the fuck is this person?
Hold on. You're telling me for a second that Bayonetta
not
is
at all,
function
no.
over anything?
Absolutely
She got guns on her shoes, bro.
She has guns on her shoes. I love this. I'm so excited that you're playing it for the first time, because you haven't really played 1 and 2 at all. Andy, I'm actually really excited about you, because I feel like as you've gotten deeper into the Souls side of the kind of third-person action games, like, as far as I know, you still haven't gotten into the Devil May Cry kind of stylish action character-driven stuff, and like, I feel like you're gonna get really into that once you give them a shot.
Well, I loved Astral Chain. Like, I feel like that may have been the first one. I remember playing Devil May Cry back in the day, but they never became the genre that I gravitated towards, and like, I have to play this new character action game. It just looks so ugly, man.
So that's another one of my talking points.
And it's
which
just
is
Switch. Like, they're doing what they can. I'm not like, trying to bag on Platinum. They're doing what they can with what they have. We can only do what we have with what we've got. I think Gandalf said that. Let me check.
One of my bullet points here.
Yo, man, we can only do what we got when we have it, Frodo.
What we got. One of my bullet points is that the visuals are trying their best, which is to say that, like, man, I'm tired of the Switch, man. At least I'm tired of what the Switch does to games like this, because looking at it can feel like an eyesore at times, but then there are other times where I'm like, no, this game is really stylish. Like, you look at the UI, you look at certain things that they do in terms of cutscenes and like big creatures that you can summon and make them fight each other, and it's like, wow, this game looks stunning from a stylistic aspect, but in terms of fidelity, just isn't bringing it, and that is not its fault, right? That is purely the Switch's fault. It's the same issue I had with the last No More Heroes game. It's the same issue that I'll have if I go back and play Astral Chain, right? I'm sure I'll feel that exact same way.
Same issue you're gonna have with Breath of the Wild too.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, you're right,
Oh,
right?
man.
I mean, unless it comes out with the Switch Pro, Nintendo,
Yeah,
the damn
that's true.
thing.
That's true.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully.
I played it on the Switch Pro. It's pretty good.
God, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same issue I'll probably have with Breath of the Wild too, of like, man, this game can look so much better, and I am noticing the fidelity shortcomings more and more, because we are now getting deeper and deeper into the PS5 and Xbox Series X life cycle, and I'm getting games that look incredible. I'm getting games that look like Elden Ring. I'm getting games that look like Last of Us Part 1, right? And I'm being spoiled with performance modes and 4K resolutions and all this stuff that, like, going back and playing, quote unquote going back, right? Playing Bayonetta 3, I'm like, oh man, this could look so much better. That said, right, regardless of that, I'm still enjoying it. I'm still having a great time. Shout out to the giant monsters that are in the game, because that's one thing that I wasn't expecting. Again, me not knowing much about Bayonetta going in, aside from the flashy action portions of it. There's a mechanic as Bayonetta where you can summon these gigantic beasts at any point in combat, and they'll come through, and you're commanding them like I don't know what a good analogy is.
It looked like a fighting game, kind of, right?
Yeah.
When they're like the two gigantic things, or
Well, that was just like one scene of it, which was crazy, right? Of like, oh yeah, there's basically a kaiju battle that you can control early on in the game. That's pretty fun. But just at any point, you can summon gigantic fucking lizard-looking creatures. Barrett has footage that he's showing here where it is. You press L2 or ZR or whatever the fuck, and you press buttons to like command it, while Bayonetta is just chilling there like doing her thing. And of course, like the charge
Revealing
of that,
outfit.
I mean, that's Bayonetta at this point. The charge of it runs out after a certain point, but like it comes back pretty quickly. And yeah, half of these battles are you just controlling bigger creatures to fight other bigger creatures for you. And the scale of it feels insane, right? It feels pretty awesome, and it controls really well for a mechanic that is based around creatures that are moving fairly slow, right? Because it is like they're moving like giant creatures, and it is like them swinging a punch, and the punch taking a few seconds to actually hit, and then you teeing up another one after that, and like going about it that way. It's still fun, and it still feels like a flashy, fun action game, despite that kind of slowing the pace, and I find that pretty impressive. But yeah, like Bayonetta 3, I think is an absolute blast. The review scores also are like really good for it. When we talked about it earlier, sitting at an 89 on Metacritic, and honestly, that feels about right. And so yeah, if you're a Bayonetta fan or a Platinum fan or an action game fan, I can recommend Bayonetta 3. I think it's a really fun time.
I have the quote, by the way. Again, off quote. If y'all don't mind. All we have to do, I fucked it up. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. God, what a movie.
Can I ask you another question here?
What's going on, Greg?
He mentioned there the big battles and the punch coming in slow-mo. We see that in movies and stuff all the time. Ant-Man gets big, he's a little bit slower than everybody else.
Yeah, what is it? What's that all about?
Okay, I was going to ask you if you knew. Does anybody know? Is time that relative to an ant? Am I moving real slow when I'm walking around?
Like, whenever something's big, everybody's always like,
Yeah, I think it's the assumption of like how they process movement, because we assume like flies fly around like so quickly, right?
Sure.
That they're processing us so much slower, because to their perspective, their movement isn't fast; it's normal movement for them.
I got the thing.
So a big human, though, wouldn't be slower to me, right?
I always thought it was
Here's
just
the thing. Here's the thing. I think it's the distance. Because whenever you see a plane fly, it doesn't really look like it's moving that fast. Up there, hella
Also,
fast.
Mike L in the chat says inertia, more mass, less speed.
He's just shouting things out. That doesn't tell us
words.
anything.
I don't know.
Just
That's the
words.
closest to science with Kev we're gonna get today, though.
Gravitron.
Okay, fair enough.
Can we call Kevin? Is that possible?
He's got the day off. I feel like that's not easy to
okay, that's
shake
fair.
down.
Yeah. Greg,
Yeah.
before we move on to
Yeah.
the topic of the show,
Dots.
a week ago, I waxed poetic about this game called Marvel Snap.
That's right.
This very table. And during that, you're like, I'm downloading it right now.
Yeah.
It's been a week.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I'm obsessed. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on.
Everybody's obsessed, dude.
It's so
Yeah, I know.
good.
Shout out to Tim Geddes.
Thank you.
Usually, he doesn't,
Pacemaker.
yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, Cuphead. And like, yeah, we
Cool.
know Cuphead's cool. You know what I
We
mean?
know.
Marvel Snap, you're the first person I heard talk about it positively, and now everybody's talking about it positively.
good.
But yeah, I'm super completely hooked on it. Like, it is the thing of like, when it's such a great game right now for the limited amounts of time I have to play here and there, the exhaustion I have and bandwidth, I have of being able to pop in there and just get a game out right while I brush my teeth, or, I'm watching Ben, he's taking care of himself. He's playing with some knives and I'm just on my phone, doing it. Or, I just want to get in there. I do want to like, all right, pick up, it's what's on the shop today that I can use the in-game currency to level up the rarity of those cards, right? What am I building out the deck for? Okay, what could I do right now? What could I, challenge myself to go do and build different decks and do this? And I'm not a card game guy. Like, it's never worked for me, right? I enjoyed Hearthstone a little bit when it first launched. I've played, Gwent here and there in the game, but this is the first one where I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm playing it, I'm like, I get this, and I'm starting, like, obviously I've learned my deck and now seeing how it plays off each other's, and like, on our subreddit, I know right now a lot of people are putting up screenshots of their games and the crazy scores they're getting, or people are getting on them.
Have you had a game yet where you got a score that was like, I didn't even think this was possible?
No, the Reddit's putting up ones that are like 1,200 points or whatever and stuff like that.
Oh,
Like,
I've
I'm
had
just-
ones where I have like 17,000.
Yeah, like
No way.
I'm not
Like,
having that.
that's
It's just
crazy.
because it's ongoing effects where it's like double, and then the location's like double this, and then you use
You
one
bring
that
it in
doubles
Odin,
those
yeah.
things,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's just double, and it just gets
That's so
wild.
satisfying.
It's so good.
Tim blew Roger's mind earlier. Roger was like,
Oh.
"You're almost at how many cards, Tim?" And Tim was like, "I'm on my way to 1,000."
Yeah, the
And
collection level thing.
Collection
Yeah,
level.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Roger was like, "What the fuck? I
Yeah.
thought I had 100. I thought that was a lot."
Yeah, I've been playing for like 3 months now, and like legitimately, I've been playing every day. Like it wasn't until the last.
Did you all your progress carry over?
Yeah, everything carried over, which is great. But the last 2 weeks because of the studio launch, I haven't been playing every day, and that's been rough because everyone else has been.
Yeah,
But now I'm like, oh no, I'm getting back, baby. But yeah, I'm at like 750 something
Nice.
collection level right
Yeah,
now.
my collection level is 126 right now.
Yeah,
I
It
got to
feels good,
imagine
man.
reading through the subreddit has got to be how people watch people like me and Blessing play Overwatch or something, where it's like a lot of times I stream Overwatch and people are like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm glad you're having fun. And just scrolling through our subreddit and seeing like a screenshot of a bunch of cards, I'm like, fucking.
Dude, it'll take you 2 minutes.
I'm sorry or congratulations, whatever.
Like it'll take you exactly maybe 5 minutes to like understand every single rule of this game.
Not me.
It
No,
is
maybe
so
10,
easy to get
maybe
into,
12.
and it's so fun. It's so satisfying too.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with that, of like how great the onboarding is, of it looking like utter nonsense, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I totally get what this means. And like they do a good job of, again, because the games are so fast, like the 3 minutes or less.
Yep.
And everything is so repetitive, and the actions are always the same concepts. It's like you learn them quickly, and then it's about the fun and the strategy and the deck building and all that. But like, Greg, do you see yourself playing this into, let's just even say, throughout the rest of this
2030?
year?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, who knows, what'll happen or not, but I don't see what would be the turnoff for it. My main thing early on was what you had talked about in your review, right? The fact that, okay, cool, well, you're playing other people, but they're probably bots, right? And so they're kind of brain dead, you're just winning. And early on, obviously, that was my experience too. And then I feel like I crossed the threshold where even if I'm not getting a human every time, I'm getting bots that are not taking it easy on me. And I like that. I do like the thing where I'm like, got this on lock, and then they play a card that I didn't see coming, or they just double up on a whole bunch. I'm like, shit, fuck, I should have done this, I should have done that. And having that loss, and again, it goes so fast. You lose the cubes or your cosmic cubes or whatever and go down maybe a rank or whatever or wherever it is, but it's still like, that was on me. I was in that. I feel like if I was running into, and I know they're kind of rare, obviously, but if I was running into the games that you're talking about of 17,000 or whatever, these kids are getting, all these crazy, maybe it'd be a bit more there, but all the games I've had have been competitive. Even the ones I've lost, even the ones that are clearly against other people. But no, like I definitely see myself continue. Will it be an everyday thing? Maybe, maybe not. I'm sure I'll fall out of it eventually. Even, Puzzle Quest 3, which I adored and still adore. That was an everyday. I'm on the battle pass. I'm doing the thing. Anything I can give them to keep the game going, I am. That tapered off. I'll still come back and tinker here and there, but I'm not on an everyday. This, I think, again, the reason that this would stick around longer is exactly what we're talking about. 6 turns, 3 minutes. It's super short. There's always something to do. There's something to get. I do think, their first battle pass for October here is up, and it's, Spider-Man or Carnage Venom themed or whatever, right? And so I looked at that really hard and didn't buy it because I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to use a Miles card.
Is it voiced by Woody Harrelson?
No, sadly. Yeah, I know. I'm not going to use this Miles card. I'm not going to use a Carnage card. So, I don't know if there's the value in it for me. But if they were to do a Captain America one, right, if they were going to do an Iron Man one, or inevitably, obviously, they will. Let alone, I don't have a Spider-Man in my deck yet. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I know I can unlock him without the Battle Pass eventually and stuff like that. But
Hey, you have a Spider-Man in your deck?
Damn.
I don't know.
Oh, that sucks, man.
Is he good, though? Because I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't
I don't
have a Spider-Man in my
have
How
deck.
would you
I don't
how would
really
you
like
invite him?
Hey, Spider-Man!
No, I was gonna say, can Spider-Man come out and play?
Play.
Well, one thing that I want to say since last week that I've been really impressed with is they have all the different locations, right, that have the different abilities attached to each one of them, and they cycle in the featured events space. So every week or so there'll be a different one that pops up more frequently. So I'm sure you guys have noticed that this week Camertage came up a lot. And that has the ability to which one was it? I think
I forget.
that doubles up your on reveal effects or something.
I think that's right.
So that fundamentally changes the meta for that week because
Everybody goes and
everyone's
builds a
they
deck for
realize,
that.
oh, if I just use the White Tiger and Odin, I'm gonna screw everyone's day up, and everyone starts doing that same pattern. But then people come up with the strategy to
Fight against that.
To fight against that, so they start using it, and it creates this cool thing where I enjoy it because. If it was oh man, this meta's changed the game forever, it would be really bad. But because it is just a couple days that's a featured location, it teaches you different strategies, and it makes you use different cards, which I'm like really happy about because I've just settled into using the same cards over and over and over. But now I'm like, oh, I need to figure out this damn game because these damn tigers are just.
Are you juggling your deck ever or often?
Yeah, I'm at the point now that I have 4 different decks
'Kay.
for different scenarios where I'm like, this is my destroy deck, this is my on reveal deck, this is my more ongoing deck, and I'm like, this is cool as shit. Who the hell am I?
A true deck boy.
I'm a deck boy, baby.
What are you right now in terms of your rank? Not your collection
deck
level,
heads.
but your rank.
So the rank thing restarts for every season.
Okay.
And currently I'm 31.
Okay.
I love how y'all just talking shop right now.
Yeah.
21
Yeah.
right now. I'm 21
love
right
it.
now. Yeah, I wish, one of the things I was talking to you about, right, is I wish I could break down cards. I wish, what do you got there?
I just won.
Oh, let's
Hell
go!
Easy peasy.
I wish I could break down cards, you know what I mean, or retire them. The fact that I was very early, I think on the actual show, I bought the Captain America $2.99 booster where I was like, yeah, I want Cap right away. I love Cap.
Swipe the card.
And then, swipe the card. And then I got the Chris Samney Cap. And so I'm using that as the variant, right? And that's the one I've been pouring everything into. But then I have now 3 other Captain Americas. So when I hate looking down at my collection and it's like, you have 3 cards you could upgrade. And they're all 3 of the Captain America that I don't want to upgrade because, of course, the Chris Samney card also uses the same upgrade tokens. Like, I wish I could just break them down or tell them to turn off notifications or whatever.
Yeah.
But what is
just
legendary?
So you know, if you did keep upgrading those other cards, it helps with your collection level. And that,
Oh, I know.
That's
No,
the
no, I
most
know.
important thing is the collection level.
But this card right here is the card I wanted to look the best.
Oh, I feel
So now it has the shiny logo. Does it go
you
higher than
gotta
that?
wait.
Does it go higher than shiny
Yeah,
logos?
yeah. Yeah, it goes up.
Look, they put this cool filter on it too, so it looks like it's like Captain America World War II footage.
That's cool.
It's awesome.
It's real
Awesome.
cool.
Have you gotten into the Duffy of deck creation, like either of you, or is that a thing that you're spending time with?
I've done it for when the challenges is what where it's like, oh, win a card with whoever in your deck, do this with whatever in your deck, and then the more we've talked about it, the more I've seen what Tim's talking about of like, oh, Carmitage is the thing people are making on reveal decks, like you should go do, and it's like for me right now that was a bridge too far because again like. What I need with it for that is, hey, I have an afternoon where I'm just screwing around. And so far with it, what it has been, oh, cool. Like, Ben's playing with something and I'm paying attention to him watching, but I'm going to go do something here. Or, Jen and I are about to watch a movie, but she's getting ready. Or we're just doing the thing where we veg out on the floor for 10 minutes before we move on to the next thing. I'm going to do that. And when I'm there, I want to play. I don't want to go build the deck and really focus on it. Now when I get new cards and I look at them and I'm understanding it, I'm like, okay, this is a cool card and I want to use this. So I'll cycle 1 or 2 out. But I'm still mainly using one deck. I do have 2 other ones built, but they're just for specific challenge things.
Yeah.
You know what I have? No, besides a game award, life insurance. I want to make sure that if anything happens to me, my family's taken care of. And you should do the same. And since life insurance typically gets more expensive as we age, now is the time to buy. I didn't get my first life insurance policy until Ben was born, but it feels great knowing that no matter what, Jen and him are going to be okay. No matter what. Policy Genius was built to modernize the life insurance industry. Their technology makes it easy to compare life insurance quotes from top companies like AIG and Prudential in just a few clicks to find your lowest price. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $17 per month for $500,000 of coverage. They're not incentivized to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance. And your personal info is private. No wonder they have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot. Your loved ones deserve a financial safety net, and you deserve a smarter way to find and buy it. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. Go deeper into the canals of Numenor, the mines of Khazad-dûm, and more with the official The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast. Hosted by friend of the show, Felicia Day, and several special guests, they provide an inside look at the groundbreaking series and what it took to bring Middle-earth to life. Each episode of the official podcast features exclusive interviews with the series showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, including the very first full breakdown of the incredible season finale. Felicia also goes behind the scenes with the cast and crew to bring you jaw-dropping stories and Easter eggs you don't want to miss. Watch The Rings of Power on Prime Video and listen to all 8 episodes of the official The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast for free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app now.
What a great time.
Can I complain about something real quick?
Complain away, Andy.
The Overwatch Battle Pass.
Yeah.
Complain about the Overwatch 2 Battle Pass. I was so excited to play one of my favorite games and level up a battle pass because I love leveling battle passes for games I don't necessarily even love, like Fortnite. I mean, no, that's a lie. I like Fortnite, I love Valorant. Valorant is a pain in the ass, but I will play it to level up the battle pass. I thought I was going to love this Overwatch battle pass, and I don't.
No.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the things that you're unlocking. I don't care about voice lines. I don't care about
Whose line is it
sprays.
anyway?
Especially for lines of characters you don't use.
Exactly. But another thing that I really, really kind of assumed, and I shouldn't have assumed this because it just doesn't work that way, but one reason why I love the Valorant Battle Pass is there are two different types of currencies. One of them is Radianite, which is what you use to just buy everything, and the other one is no. You have like your normal money, then you have Radianite, and the Radianite is used to, let's say you buy a gun skin. That gun will be at level 1 when you buy it, and it's cool and it's dope as hell, but maybe you want the blue version of it, or the pink version, or the green version, and the handle's purple, or whatever the fuck. You have to use Radianite as a different sort of currency to customize those weapons. So that's like an extra level of leveling up and progression that I really, really enjoyed. And there's nothing to really do for that in Overwatch. Like you're getting these skins, and a lot of times people aren't happy about it because it's like, I have to pay this amount to get this skin when it seems like a lot of people want the loot boxes back, to be honest with you. It's kind of
Honestly,
odd.
that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm like, man, I am not thrilled with the current progression system in Overwatch 2. And I was actually having this thought this last week of like, I think I might finally be at the point where I'm willing to say that Overwatch 2 is disappointing. Just based on the launch, right? Like, I think the overall game, especially it just being more of the original Overwatch, it's a fun game to play, and it's still that same game that I fell in love with. But in terms of what the last, when did it launch? Like weeks ago at this point, the last 3 weeks or so of launch, I would describe as maybe dreadful. Just in terms of like, of course, getting DDoSed and people not being able to get in the game, that's not entirely their fault. But, that combined with the cell phone situation, combined with like me just not liking the battle pass, combined with the new content being cool but not enough to like excite me necessarily. Like I'm not the week before we launched the studio, during downtime I'll be playing Overwatch at my desk, and I found myself just enjoying playing the arcade modes that were just 1v1 or free for all modes. And playing that, I was like, this is the same Overwatch that I've been playing. Like there's not there's new bells and whistles in terms of like stuff that they're doing to spruce up the visuals, and like new unlockables and like a couple new characters and all that stuff. But I don't know if it's enough for me to go, yeah, Overwatch 2 was the one. Like I think I've finally crossed the point where I'm like, I think Overwatch 2 might have disappointed me.
Well, even though I hate the battle pass, like I'm still doing everything in my power to not put it in my top 10 because it's a sequel, and it's very much the same game. Like it's went from 6v6 to 5v5. It got better in that way. Gameplay got better in that way. I think the game is still like a perfect multiplayer game. I don't want to put it in my top 10 because I wouldn't put NBA 2K whatever or Madden 2000. Like I wouldn't do that, right? But bless you, might be in the minority because the past couple of days I've been looking at this. I've been tracking the numbers on Twitch, and for a while I was worried about Overwatch's reception, right? Like I want the game to succeed. I want people to love it in the way that Valorant has kind of taken over. And by this point, we're only a couple of weeks out, but I would have assumed that Overwatch would have died out significantly on Twitch. And right now it's the, I believe it's the it's the first most played thing on Twitch right now. And second being just chatting, which is like everybody just chats or whatever. But there are 390,000 people watching Overwatch 2 right now. And I think it needed this free-to-play thing to happen. It's having the Fall Guys effect right now, where Fall Guys went free-to-play and suddenly gigantic resurgence. Suddenly everybody's talking about Fall Guys again, and everybody who didn't want to buy it beforehand can now play it. And I think that has helped out the game immensely. And I hope they're taking all these criticisms to heart because I want this Battle Pass to be good. I want to pay money to unlock shit that I care about. It's just, it kind of took me a while to realize I don't care about voice lines or doing a little spray on the wall that says like, haha, or GG. Like, I just don't care about that shit. I care about cosmetics a lot. And I love when I'm in Valorant and I bought that cool gun and now I can make this gun a different color by using like a different type of currency. I wish that they
One clean sweep. Clean sweep.
clean sweep from Greg. In a perfect world, all of the different skins that you have, just give me a color change on the weapon. So if you're Roadhog and you have your little shotgun and your hook, but let me change the color swap on the hook to a different thing using a certain type of currency. Like, I would just do anything to be able to have a bit more customization there. Otherwise, I still think it's like a perfect game.
I think it just depends on like the criteria we're talking about. Because for Overwatch 2, right? Like you mentioned Fall Guys going free to play, and you mentioned the boost that Overwatch 2 has given Overwatch just in terms of player base and all that stuff. I think that could have probably been an update, and it would have had the same effect just in terms of Fall Guys went free to play. They didn't call it Fall Guys 2. Knockout City went free to play. They didn't call it Knockout City 2.
It's the Activision effect. It's what happened with Destiny. Like I think the same thing happened with Destiny. Like, why they have to put a 2 on it? They could have just been a living service, but they had to call it 2, probably because of financials and quarterly fucking results and all that shit. I think it's just, in my opinion, they had to make it number 2, not only because of all of that stuff that we already mentioned, but I don't think you can keep calling it Part 1 and change it from 6v6 to 5v5. I think that's too drastic of a change to just like, hey, we're updating the game. By the way, it's no longer 6v6. It's 5v5
we changed the
now.
very DNA of it. And exactly
what the fuck? What happened? How is it? How are you going for? Well, it's Part 2 now. So, sorry. Well, you can't play Part 1 anymore, by the way. But like, I think that's too drastic of a change. I think if they just added more maps and shit, then fine. They shouldn't call it Part 2. But I think having a change like that is like significant enough to kind of change the DNA of it.
Yeah, I guess I just need in the opposite way. I feel like you need a bit more DNA change to even justify that too. Because I'm there with the 66 to 5v5. I think is a big change. That, and then also again the visual updates, turning maps from day to night and from night to day. Like, they touched pretty much every portion of that game to some extent. But I don't know if it was enough for me as somebody who got into Overwatch in 2016. Now it's 2022. I want to be excited for Overwatch again, to go, all right, like, I'm going to spend all my time playing Overwatch. Like, I even hit up my friends that, are Overwatch people as well, right? People who I would have played with in 2016, or people who I generally play multiplayer games with today.
Damn, I didn't see I didn't, must not, my phone number must have been off.
Check your Slack DMs.
Oh, shit, my bad.
It might have been on night mode. You might not have got the
yeah.
notification. But like, even then, it's like, all right, yeah, let's play. Let's link up. Let's play Overwatch. Oh man, I'm tired tonight. We'll play tomorrow. Oh man, I don't know if this is gonna be the night we play. And there's just that dissipation of excitement that we had. That like we see that, oh, okay, it's more Overwatch, and we're just like, all right, cool. Like, even if the single player mode came out alongside all of these Overwatch 2 updates, maybe that would have taken a bigger step for me, and I'm sure like other people, to go, all right, this is the thing. This is now all the conversation is going to be around Overwatch. I guess for me, I just feel like not enough has changed. Like, even it being signified by the PS4 version of Overwatch 1, just updating and putting a 2 next to it, right? And it being the exact same game, to the point where it's the same trophy list. Like, I have the physical version, like the disc being in the icon next to Overwatch 2. I'm like, oh, okay. So this really is just
new
just
thumbnails, new game.
Well, on PS4, it's not a new thumbnail is the thing.
On PS5, it is.
On PS5, it is. But I think in the PS4 architecture, I don't think you can change the thumbnail.
Console gaming, dude.
Yeah, I was confused for a while. I was like, is this Overwatch 1? No, it's Overwatch 2.
So I want to take this Overwatch conversation and kind of segue it into the topic of the show, which is Bless and I were on Games Daily this morning talking about Bayonetta 3's reviews embargo being up, and over the last week there was Call of Duty, there was Gotham Knights. So like a lot of the big AAA games are starting to come out. Some of them more on the disappointing side, and some of them like Sparks of Hope and Bayonetta on the more positive, this is kind of what we were hoping for side of things. Looking at the rest of the year, with Overwatch kind of seemingly somewhere in between on that stuff, are there games that you guys are like, I don't think we're paying enough attention to this? Like, looking at pretty much we just have 2 months left, right? Like, it's the end of October here.
Outrageous.
So it's like we got
outrageous.
A ton of release dates.
I want to speak to somebody's manager about this.
We have RE-verse.
We do. Soon. Apparently, we do. RE-verse, October 28th is what
I saw
saying.
Ray Narvaez talk about that. He was like, "This game is awful."
Yeah. God. Is it really coming out this week? I just don't believe it. But Maybe.
It says it right there, the 28th.
Yeah, it does. It does. But yeah, we're getting the DLC for Village, and that kind of ends out this month because we have the Call of Duty thing. Andy, are you excited for Modern Warfare's campaign, even though the reviews?
100%. Yeah, I want to play the campaign. Mostly because I've just seen a lot of my friends who have played it, and everybody's got different tastes. And I know IGN was getting flamed for it for stupid ass reasons. Different people review games. It's okay for different people to feel different ways. I want to play through it only because I know it's not the longest game. You can beat it in like 8 to 9 hours. But I also just booted up the first level on it, and it's like, this game looks expensive. Like, holy shit, this isn't even a cutscene, and I'm walking through this desert, and the visuals are just ridiculous looking. I know it's going to be big budget, fucking war, explosions all over the place. And that's mainly why I would play a Call of Duty game, for the Hollywood blockbuster nature of it. That's why I love the 2019 version. I'm gonna play this one definitely, probably when I'm done with God of War, whenever that is. But I know it's super short, and that's one reason why I want to check it out.
Yeah,
for sure.
Greg, this one gonna do anything for you?
No, remember, I've infamously now sworn off of Call of Duty campaigns.
Oh, I did.
Every year I feel like we come up on it, and every year I'm like, this is gonna be the one. This one looks cool. It looks like an action movie. I don't even like action movies that much, right? So it's like I start these things up and get bored and stop pretty early. So like this is the one where I was like, I'm not even gonna pay attention to it. It might because I guess last year's either. That
So
maybe
it's the me with Assassin's Creed.
yeah, 100%. And it's like nothing against them. Like, I know they're really quality. I know everybody works really hard on them. It's just that it has even Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare 2, right? Or whatever. The one with the nuclear bomb from forever ago. Not new Modern Warfare 2. Old Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4. I don't even know what the fuck I remember being at IGN when that was a big deal, and I remember struggling all the way through and being like, that was cool, I guess, but like I'm not in love with this. And so yeah, no, I'm fine.
Yeah. So then moving on to that, like it's the end of October. We got November. We got the kind of mainstays that we know Pokemon's coming. Andy, are you excited?
You say that, but like I forgot. I've been so hung up on Ragnarok. I've been so hung up on Callisto. I've been so Marvel. Don't forget, Midnight Suns is coming in December as well. That who knows what that's gonna be good. But I love card games now from Marvel. But then somebody mentioned Pokemon. I was like, fucking right. I forgot that I was excited for that Scarlet. I want to see this. I'm excited.
You excited for Scarlet?
Yeah.
But
for you.
That's not a normal thing for you, right? Is it?
No, that's why I'm excited for it.
What makes you excited for
Yeah,
Scarlet?
the open world stuff.
Like I think even
Remember,
the Pokemon fans here are like,
yeah, but it's like the idea that like I didn't, with Arceus. Remember, I had little Benny going on, and so when I finally started up Arceus, like the next week they announced they're doing this, and I was like, oh, they're doing the open world Pokemon thing that everybody loves right now in Arceus, but they're doing it in a modern time. I'm way more into that than I am playing ancient Pokemon. So the idea of jumping into this and running around doing that sounds interesting and fun to me in open world Pokemon.
And the things that like Tim and I kind of talked about when we talked about Arceus way back when, right? Is we miss we like the open world stuff, but we miss the structure of going to gyms and stuff like that. And this seems kind of like the answer to that. So yeah, I'm fucking stoked for Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like my life stops and it's all I play and yada, 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 but I definitely think I'm going to be chipping away at it here and there and running around doing it.
Yeah, looking at November's releases, it seems like it's really heavy on like Switch ports of things. We're getting like It Takes Two. We're getting Sifu, pretty much every Resident Evil known to man.
Remember seeing Sifu in the Nintendo Direct?
And you said, what have they done to my boy?
What did they do to that game? It looked so terrible in that Direct.
But then we also have Sonic Frontiers, bless, coming out November 8th, so that's coming real soon. I'm still hopeful. We'll see, but I don't think that I highly doubt that game is going to end up being anything different than what everyone expects it to be. And I think that everyone expects it to be something different to themselves, but like it is just going to be that thing. I don't think it's going to wow many people, and I don't think
it's not going to stop the world. And it's one that even at release, right? Like
I would love it if it did, and like Biden had to fucking have a State of the Union.
Give a statement, like, my fellow Americans.
Was that your Obama?
It did sound like it's Obama. He's got one president voice. He got one president voice. All he can do. Malarkey. You're all playing Sonic.
I think me and Tim's the world will probably talk about it for one or two podcasts, and then we'll move on with our lives, right? Whether it's bad, fine, or like, oh man, this is pretty good. This is the best Sonic game since Generations. Which, if it is, it is. If
That's
it's not,
the thing.
whatever.
Yeah, it's like, but at this point, bless. It has to be, right? Besides, like, if we're not counting the 2D ones, like, if it's just, if
Yeah,
we're just
out of
talking
3D
like the
Sonic?
core 3D
What are
Sonics,
we
like,
talking-
it has to be best since generation.
We're talking about Sonic, Lost World, Sonic Boom, and Sonic Forces.
Forces, yeah.
I think it could be bad as Forces.
I
think it
hope
probably could
not.
be.
I really hope not.
But here's the thing, and this is to speak to our curse as Sonic fans. I played through all of Forces. Like I
did too.
I started playing Forces and I was like, this is a bad video game, and I finished it. Like,
James Burke Platinum Sonic Forces.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
What a fact.
Like that's just the cursed human beings that we are. And so even if Sonic Forces is that level, which if I was to give Sonic Forces a score, right, I'd say it's a 6 out of 10 on a
See,
10
Sonic
scale.
Forces to me is a 4. Like, that is what a 4 out of 10 video game looks like.
I thought it was better than I thought it was like fine, like bad to fine, like the bad to fine range, right? Of like, no, this is finishable. Like I can finish this, and like have that bad aftertaste in my mouth. Like, I can't believe I just played that, but I did, you know. I
did.
I did. Sonic Frontiers, I think let me not test this. I'll test it. At worst, is that. At best, oh man, it's as good as Generations. It's a strong 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I'm
we'll
with you
see.
on that. Well, we will see.
Can I throw one that I don't think is on any of our radars, but I saw a trailer for weeks ago, and I've added it to Blessing Super Fun Game release calendar that you can check out on twitter.com/BlessingJr.
Everybody listen up.
It's a game called The Entropy Center, which I found I saw PlayStation
I
tweet
put
about.
this on the map.
I founded this developer. PlayStation tweeted about this game weeks ago, and I watched the trailer and I was like, oh shit. I don't know if it's possible for us to watch it with sound, maybe not. But if I read through the description on their Steam page, right? The Entropy Center is a mind-bending puzzle adventure where you reverse objects through time to overcome seemingly impossible obstacles and conundrums. Oh, there's the sound. Manipulate time to your will and solve ingeniously challenging puzzle rooms, each one taking you closer to the heart of a colossal space station in the orbit of the Earth.
I mean,
Wait,
perfect.
And this
It's
is
like, hey, motherfuckers, it's a different Portal gimmick.
Yeah.
Have fun.
it's Portal, but if it had like the High on Life talking
Give it
guns,
a try.
and if it took place on like the Prey spaceship, I guess.
Well done. You did great.
And I'm all about this.
Yeah, this is cool.
It's my kind of puzzle game, but also I just think generally it looks really cool and might appeal to more people, and that's
Yeah.
coming out November 3rd.
Little holidays puzzle poppy.
Yeah.
Really neat.
That's
That looks
what I'm
really
looking
cool.
forward to.
I mean, that's got a great art style, and I feel like I wonder how long that gimmick before it gets annoying, like the character talking to you. How long will that last before you're like, all right, enough.
Halfway through High on Life is the answer.
But if it's written well, I feel like it could be a new Gladys situation where
Or bear like the narrator in what was that
You think
fucking
the gun turns evil.
the mutant game of the little monster, little rat,
Biomutant?
Biomutant. Yeah.
God, the dumb narrator just talking about everything.
Shut
over
up,
the
dude.
Made up language that they made for that game. Ugh.
So there is a big problem, and that is that Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales is coming to PC on November 18th, and they need to stop putting this game out because I want to keep playing it. I just want to play it again, and I'm like, well, now I get to play it in super ultra wide
You get the platinum?
again. Yeah, why not?
I mean,
know?
you already got the platinum for
do,
Miles Morales?
I do, yeah.
Proud of you.
He doesn't hate it like you do.
How? Yeah, you
I'm
hate
so close to getting that
you,
platinum.
you fucking hate that game. Do we think that's going to be a big old kind of dud the way Uncharted just kind of popped up, and I saw tweets
I
coming
think
out that
there'll be
like
more buzz about this.
nobody's been talking about.
Yeah, we did that on Games Daily. And
Yeah.
how the Uncharted collection most recently here, Lost Legacy and Uncharted 4, like underperformed. But there was no fanfare. They came out at a rough time. They're also older, like old games. You know what I mean?
Old game's old.
Old game is old. Whereas I think Spider-Man, right? Like,
It is, but I would be interested. I feel like this has the same marketing problem we were talking about on Games Daily, where we just knew this was coming for so long that I feel like a lot of
Some people think it may be out already.
Exactly. So I feel like,
but I think by then they're going to ramp up for that. I think
hopefully. I mean, we're so close that like, I just don't think there's going to be like a PlayStation moment for them to be able to drum up the excitement and like point to this in a way that.
I
feels-
hear you, but I think it's also that PC games work a bit different. Like if they, get placement on the Steam store,
They work
right,
smoother,
and
better
do all
frame
this
rate.
different stuff. Of course, but
Yeah.
it's the idea of like that audience is going to be dialed in, that they've heard so much great stuff about Miles Morales, and you get close and you run banner ads on Steam, you run banner ads on IGN. People will know it's happening in a way I don't think we understood the Uncharted collection was really happening.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's exciting too. I mean, with Spider-Man being released on PC this year too, there is that kind of like, cool, they played the first one, so now, or I guess it was late last year that it came out. So it's like at least they're familiar with Uncharted 1 through 3 isn't even on PC, so it's like people might be trepidatious about jumping into 4. What else is there here?
Harvestella.
Harvestella!
The fun-looking farming game out of like
RPG, farming RPG.
the farming RPG. It was
Farm PG.
one of the ones that I think this might have been in the Nintendo Farming Direct.
That was your infamous quote of Square just be making games.
Yeah, Square just be making games, right? Where like this is another one of those again a farming RPG that I honestly, out of all the ones that have been announced, this might be one that I boot up at least at least 1 or 2 times to check out.
I think it's interesting. It's going to bring in the audience that has maybe been, burnt out on fucking what's the other 2D
Animal
farming
Crossing.
game? No,
Stardew.
Stardew.
Harvest Moon.
Like essentially, it's like a 3D Stardew in a way, where in Stardew
And then
you go
monsters.
fight shit inside little caverns, and you get whatever items you need to bring back to go plant stuff. And I think this could be a really interesting melding. Don't be surprised if that ends up selling
Game of
quite
the
a
year.
bit, everybody.
And
Game of
honestly, the thing, because I'm not usually a life sim or farming game person, the thing that does bring me into this one a little bit more is just the fact that there's combat, and it seems like there are more JRPG mechanics and story stuff in there that'll interest somebody like me who, I booted up Disney Dreamlight Valley, and I was like, what am I doing? I'm not playing this. Like, it seems like a cool game, but this isn't just my this is my
ain't your
kind of
jam.
thing. Yeah.
There's a god spirit summon that's like, where are the turnips?
Yeah.
Like, coming out of the sky. It's like a lion and shit.
But this one seems like it has a few more trappings that might appeal to somebody like me.
I want to talk about just really quickly a demo that I played that we didn't get to mention a whole lot because this was during Steam Next Fest. Gunbrella.
How was it?
We saw that trailer for Gunbrella. We're like, wow, what a genius concept. Gunbrella has got to be one of the best feeling 2D games I've played in a long time.
You worried me there. The way you set this up, I thought I was like, this shit
We
sucks.
thought it looked great, and we were wrong.
I'm totally off topic here because this doesn't come out until 2023, but I think they extended the demo time. I think Devolver was like, hey, go play it for longer. We're not cutting it off here for Steam Next Fest. It feels so perfect to play. Just the movement of it all, you are able to jump and then immediately sear yourself, and then your umbrella is also the shield as you're shooting people or trying to deflect bullets or whatever. It's one of those games that like you didn't understand how good it was going to feel until you actually play it, and it all just kind of makes perfect sense. I am so excited to play the full. I was very sad for some reason when the demo ended. I thought that I had the full code for some reason, as if we had early codes. I was like, oh fuck, man! Like I'm genuinely bummed out that this demo is over.
I started playing it during. Wait, was it? Was this Steam Next or did we get codes? I forget which.
Well, it was the same thing. So I thought
okay.
that we had like exclusive like preview codes over, but it was also like a Steam Next Fest sort of deal. And I played this on my Steam Deck late at night, and it was like, this is the perfect thing for this device
And
right here.
I did the same thing where I started on my Steam Deck, and very quickly I was like, I'm gonna wait to play the full thing because I can tell that
you're
this
gonna like it.
is something. Yeah, I'm like, I know I'm gonna like this. I'm just gonna wait and just fully indulge in it when it actually comes out.
It
That looks
works as
awesome.
perfect as you'd want it to. I'm like stoked
Hell
for
yeah.
Tim to check it out.
Yeah,
for
that looks
Yeah.
so rad. You saying it feels right. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's all I needed to hear. Moving into December. So November, it's like, all right, cool. Not too many crazy things. Unless
there's a couple more I want to throw out there
Go
for November.
Yeah, you skipped over Dark Pictures Anthology, jerk.
I did.
Yeah.
I
Get over
did.
here.
Dark Pictures Anthology, The Devil in Me, which I'm very excited for. I'm sure Greg's very excited for.
I'm always in. What's
Young
the
to go to
curator
church.
got for me this
Oh my
time? What you
goodness.
got? Yeah, I can't wait for that weird, like Norwegian heavy metal song to play, and then
yeah.
the
The theme song for
crows
Dark
going
Pictures.
like, "Yeah, we're doing it, Dark Pictures, baby."
Dark Pictures Anthology is I don't know if you've ever tried Dark Pictures, Tim, but
Yeah.
it seems like something that might be Tim's jam.
I mean, that's the
You and
thing.
Gia.
We need to do it's so hard. We've started every single one, and
Yeah.
it's just like, it's super fun for the first night, and then I'm like, do you want to keep going? And she's like,
No, I'm good.
let's do something else. And it's like, keep that energy going is just hard.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the description for this one because like the pitch for this one is basically that it's
Ghost Simulator.
oh yeah, I was also gonna bring up
There it
Goat
is.
Simulator, but the pitch for this one, Devil in Me, is that it's basically Saw.
Right.
You
You love Saw, Tim.
There's a series of
Foreplay
standalone
game.
ranting adventures that's more about Dark Pictures. A group of documentary filmmakers receive a mysterious call inviting them to a modern-day replica of serial killer H.H. Holmes' murder castle. It's an opportunity that's too good
Hunter
to pass
Hearst.
up. And could
Time to play the game. Welcome to my castle. Pedigree somebody immediately.
and could just be the thing they're looking for to win some much needed public interest. The hotel is the perfect set for their new episode, but things aren't quite as they seem. The crew discover they're being watched and even manipulated, and suddenly there's much more at stake than just their ratings. Nothing is as it seems here, and the amenities are to die for. And this is like a new bullet point. Explore the murder hotel is essentially the thing. And then your death is his design. Escape the torturous creations of an evil monster who is hell-bent on becoming America's deadliest serial killer, and survive elaborate killing rooms where your own death is by the killer's design. I'm all the way in.
Remember when Janet made up that like the characters from the other episodes were all going to come together into this one?
She got me so excited because I was like,
know.
I don't know where you heard this, but if that's true, that's crazy. And
Blessing
then
out of you, Junior.
it was some crazy fever dream.
You're a video game content creator. All your
God,
life.
what's happening? Oh, God.
It's like Blessing's so stoked that Saw has like chosen him. Jigsaw, like fuck
fucking
yeah!
go. Yeah, I love
I've been
puzzles.
waiting for this.
Jigsaw, did you really call me Puzzle Poppy?
I don't think you understand.
That's the bad thing.
The stakes are high here. You could die. They call me Puzzle Poppy. Oh, all right.
I want to call out. I want to call out Warzone 2.0.
Ah.
You have no idea the amount of tough times that Warzone 1 got me through.
Yeah.
Like, that was start of the pandemic. That was finding the squad.
Chris
You
Anka.
couldn't get the fuck out of your house. You were stuck in there, and we escaped to Verdansk. And it was like some of my favorite memories up there with like playing 2K with my homies back in the day online. Warzone 2.0, I am so stoked for it just being sort of this fresh start with a brand new map that's going to have a lot of familiar POIs. And
Point of interest, everybody.
points of interest, yeah. It's a little game dev term. I was game development for 3 years.
You made the Slay in DC Universe Online.
I did.
It's going to be coming up in December. It'll be back
Sure
up.
did. It'll be back. I'm just stoked to get back in it and just kind of like feel like there's a new kind of place to get back to, because once Verdansk was taken away, and I think the game just went through some issues trying to do what Apex does really successfully, introduce new maps. Not everybody loves new maps in Apex, granted, but I feel like they, more than anybody, introduces new content, and not everybody fucking hates it. And when Warzone introduced that more, I think them just melding with Black Ops and doing like this 1970s, 80s style tropical island, people were like, this sucks, dude. We don't want to use these old weapons. Like, why give us our shit back, you know? I'm stoked to just sort of start fresh here and level up whatever that battle pass is going to be. I'm very, very excited for Warzone 2.0 and to get back into the whatever they're calling this island with the Jabroni boys.
Can I throw in another one? This is one that actually doesn't have a release date, and that's the thing that bothers me about it. It's a game called Little Devil Inside.
Mm-hmm.
And about a year
We've been
ago,
hearing about this thing for too long.
it was about a year ago where Greg was on paternity leave, and me and Janet did a whole PS Love You predicting PlayStation State of Play. To which I was like, "Hey man," like I didn't say it like that to Janet, but I was like, "Hey, like hey man, where's Little Devil Inside?" It's been a while since we heard about Little Devil Inside. I wouldn't be surprised if Little Devil Inside headlined the State of Play, and then it did with a 2023 window, I believe. Barry, if you're able to scroll to the end of this, I think they said 2023 if I remember correctly.
Dude, that was a year ago. What the?
We're almost toward the October 2022. Yeah, so we're a couple months away from the end of 2022. Where the fuck is Little Devil Inside?
It ain't happening. Not this year.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, here's my thought is they showed this off. Not that necessarily we're the only ones that weren't super happy with it. I'm sure a lot of people were stoked with what they saw, but this was a very disappointing presentation for me. I was like, I was so excited about this game. Every direct, I was like, where's Little Devil Inside? Little Devil Inside. We finally said, I was like, this doesn't look good. And I think that may have been the feedback from a lot of different people, and I think they are maybe rethinking a lot of parts of this game, whether they're retooling, design stuff or whatever. I just don't know what it is they need to fix, but whatever we saw, just like, this isn't what I wanted.
Yeah, it was a really bad showing. That I think that the game is probably pretty solid, and I think that it's there. It's just the way that they showed that State of Play was like, y'all focused on the most boring mechanics that this game has to offer of anything we've seen yet.
Yeah.
And it felt like we saw that stuff, that world map thing, for like, it felt like 10 minutes of just going through
Yeah.
this like really slow prodding thing. So.
I also really hated, and I called it out back then, that this super cartoony looking dude was just straight up mocapped. Like that doesn't look like a hand animated thing where like whenever you watch a Pixar movie, they everything's hand animated. That's why everything's like super exaggerated and shit. But there's a shot of like this dude running, and it just looks like a person in a mocap suit sprinting, and it felt like I think in that shot where he's running right there, it just kind of there's a visual dissonance there of here's a really cartoony, funny looking dude with clearly like a human mocapping this. Doesn't look like a hand animated cartoon running, you know, and that just kind of threw me off as well. That's a small little tidbit, but what are you gonna do, Greg? You know.
It's one of those things that you talk about little devil inside happening during paternity leave, and it's so crazy that because I missed that one thing, like I have had no idea what this game looks like, and I've never made this. And I'm watching it, I'm like, God, I would not have predicted that. I wouldn't have looked at that at all.
That's November then, right?
That's November.
Cool. So Warzone 2 is that November as well?
It is. Yeah,
There?
we haven't done December. We saved December for you, like a big old piece of cake.
There's also a little to the left, but I feel like that's
Oh wait, that's the one with the little puzzles we like
Yeah.
from SGF.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
that's
I like
cool.
that one. I'm sorry. Shut the fuck up. That's a great game.
It's like 2 weeks from now.
Shit, really?
Yeah, November 8th.
Damn, let's go.
So December is popping off with the big AAA releases, it seems. So like just going through the names of them, we can double back later. Marvel's Midnight Suns, Need for Speed Unbound, Callisto Protocol. There's Choo Choo Charles. Want to give a shout out to that.
The triplest of AAAs.
And
Choo Choo
then-
Charles is
is that the horror
Yeah.
Thomas the Tank Engine thing?
Choo Choo Charles is one of Snowbike Mike's friends.
that's a great call. But
I
I
met
don't
him
know,
when
I
I
don't
was
know if
in
you've
college.
seen this, Greg, but it's a survival
horror one, right? Yeah, where the train's off the track.
Scary looking monster train that's chasing you through the forest. It looks pretty sick, actually.
Love that. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Super stoked. And then High on Life.
Hell yeah.
Being the biggest ones. Do you have anything on your list, Bless, that I didn't name there?
No, that covers it.
Where do we want to start? Like, what's the...
Callisto.
What do you have to say, Greg?
I can't wait. You kidding me? Like, you know, it's the more you see of that game, which isn't obviously in depth, but I know previews have posted since we ever talked about it last time, and you see trailers and you do stuff. It's like I look at them, it's like, yeah, modern Dead Space. Let's go. Cut their limbs off. All right, cool. Let's go. You know what I mean? Let's go. We're on a prison. Josh
Doomy?
Duhamel's in it.
Oh man, he looks good.
Yeah. Karen from The Boys is in it. Like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, this looks fucking like a modern Dead Space. Hey, this looks like a 2022 Dead Space, which I know we're getting a 2023 Dead Space, but as somebody who's already played that and done the preview for it, like, this looks like the modern version of it, not a remake of an old game. This is, let's go from the ground up. You know what I mean? Let's see what they have up their sleeves, the people who worked on Dead Space 1 and 2. Not all of them, obviously, but a lot of the minds behind it. What does that look like in a modern horror? What does that look like with none of the lore on top of you? You know, you watch it, obviously there's more melee and stuff in it, but it is the same thing of shooting off limbs and going after creatures and getting scares, and yeah, I can't wait. You know how much I love Dead Space and horror games in general, let alone a AAA horror game. Like, this one just looks fucking rad, and I can't wait.
I think visually also it looks, even though it's not, it looks like a game that's only PS5,
Yeah.
Series X, PC. Like it looks like a exclusive to the next generation, and it's coming out on PS4 and you know Xbox One and stuff, which is very surprising because I'm excited to see, for the bad reasons, what they do to make it run on those old systems.
Yeah.
You know, I think whenever they showed Josh Duhamel's face, that shit just doesn't look like a current gen thing. That looks like, hey, this is a PS5 thing only, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely a quality to it. I'm so excited for it because, like, there's so many good signs for this. Like, this could be something, like, really special. And I don't think that even if it's at its best of what it's capable of being, I don't know that it has that Game of the Year quality to it,
I'm
right?
not expecting that.
Yeah, but I do think that it could squeeze in, and I don't think the Game Awards it'll qualify for the timing. December
No,
2nd.
no, Balance
Yeah.
will have to be in before.
Yeah,
then,
but
or-
it's like, even let's pretend that it did. It's like I can see it potentially hitting some of the different genres that they break down, whether it's action, adventure, or
something like
whatever
that,
it
yeah.
is. And that's cool. It's cool that, like, kind of slipping in at the end of the year, there's a potential for a game, a horror game, to be that level. Hopefully,
For me, it's
you know?
like it's the last game of the year that I think will probably could possibly touch KindaFunny's top 10 of the year when we do it in January 2023.
That's probably a good way to put what I'm trying to get across. Yeah.
Like it has that. It seems like it has that kind of quality to it. And it's like a game that I think all of us to some extent are looking forward to. Even Andy, who you don't do horror games, like I think you're probably gonna do Callisto Protocol, right?
I have to for charity because I'm such a great selfless person.
Damn.
I don't know if this
You're
job counts as
single,
charity.
too?
You get paid here.
Well,
You're
no,
talking
no,
about
And you're
actual
single
charity.
too?
I did a charity stream, and then I was like, if we hit this goal, I'll play either Callisto or Dead Space. You all have to choose, and they chose Callisto because it came out this year. But that's just just such a selfless heart, so
Damn.
giving,
Yeah.
Your girlfriend
caring,
must really like that.
loving. Actually, I'm single, Greg.
Single, wow.
Wow.
Wowie,
That's
wowie
crazy.
hot dog.
At Andy Cortez on Twitter. You know what I mean?
Did you see that? I got to do like a voice acting thing for some of Rooster Teeth's project, and they asked me, "Where do you want us to shout you out at?" And I asked them to shout out bonermonger.com.
I did see that. I did see someone on the subreddit put out that Gus had to call you
So-
Andy from bonermonger.com.
So I had Gus Cerulli be like, and we have Algerok voiced by Andy Cortez from bonermonger.com. Oh, a little
Get it? Did
shithead.
I re-upped that, right?
I'm a little shithead, yeah.
I love it.
Bonermonger?
Yeah.
So
But real quick, just to close out Dead Space,
Yeah.
you're talking about not being a game of the year contender and stuff like that, right? And that's not something I want from it. I don't think I don't need from it. I just
Yeah.
want a really great horror game. And my
How
hope
about
is,
Callisto?
yeah. What did I say?
I think you said Dead Space.
My apologies. Who would have thought? I confused those two. But one of the things is that Glenn from Striking Distance is on the record for saying 12 to 14 hours, and that's dev math. So I'm hoping it's actually more like 10 to 12.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
great.
Like that sounds perfect.
it
I
really
love that
does.
experience.
Totally. Need for Speed Unbound.
I'll boot it up.
I'll boot it up.
I'm stoked to check that
You
out.
guys are such benevolent kings from your throne. I'll boot you up. See how you feel.
I think just that sort of art style, I think they're finally kind of finding something that might work.
It's a good way to put it, Ed.
That
Yeah.
might
They're
work.
finally finding something that might work.
And this is completely unfair to Need for Speed, but when it comes to driving games like this, fidelity-wise, I'm looking for something that looks and feels like Forza. And I don't know if this game has a prayer of looking and sounding as good as Forza does. And maybe like the art style is enough to bring it, like enough flair and flashiness to make me go, oh, you know what? Forget all that. I'm having fun. Like that, I think that is probably my biggest prayer for this one. But I
love
think
that
it's a tall order for a modern Need for Speed game to be a banger like that.
I love that the characters, I don't know how much we'll see them, but I love that they're cell shaded, and
Yeah.
I do like that. Like that's such a design decision that they could have tried to go the realistic route again with maybe some of that FMV shit that they. What game was that?
That was
It's
the
just
remake,
Need for Speed,
or not
right?
remake, but the reboot. The Need for Speed.
Payback.
No, I think it was just Need for Speed for the FMV.
And weird decisions going on there. I think this is like the perfect thing to differentiate yourself because I don't think you're gonna hit visual fidelity on that level, and at that point you're in a losing battle. So how do you differentiate yourself in a way that can seem kind of unique? And I don't know. I like the bright colors. I'm a sucker for that shit.
I think if KindaFunny has a category that's called Best Surprise in our Game of the Year, maybe this could be Best Surprise. If
I
it
mean,
comes out
legit.
and it kills it.
That's the thing is like the people working on the game. It's like we know that they make good games. I'm most worried about it because we heard about it so late, and like I think we heard about this game for the first time less than a month ago.
Yeah.
And now it's just coming out, and it's like, okay, well, Need for Speed doesn't have a track record of, well, we can trust them like putting out quality products year after year. It's like the opposite at this point. So we'll have to see. But I'm with you. Like there's surprise potential with Need for Speed Unbound. I gotta talk about Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion coming at December 13th. I can't wait. I know Janet got to play a little bit, and I missed that episode, so I didn't get to hear too much. But I saw her tweet a little clip of it, and she was excited for it. She had a good time playing it, which I'm a little surprised by, honestly, because I'm very interested on it being such a supposedly faithful remake of or remaster even of the original Crisis Core, it being a PSP game, it being a spin-off already, one of the first action-oriented Final Fantasy games ever, really. Like, and we've had a lot of iterations since that I think got the games more in line with something that an Andy or a Bless might, and definitely a Greg, might actually even appreciate playing these games. And I know you guys all really enjoyed Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Game of the year.
But Janet talking about Crisis Core, I'm like, maybe there's a chance. Maybe this will work for you guys. You excited for it?
I'm so excited for it. If anything, just to get more of the Final Fantasy VII story. You know, like I enjoyed Remake so much because Remake, of course, Remake might have brought a little bit more to the table than a lot of us were expecting, just narratively and story wise. But Remake made me want more of that world, and so much so that I went back and I played a lot of the original Final Fantasy VII, the actual remaster that was on PS4. I'm still in a place where I'm like, yeah, give me more. I want to know about Zack. I want to know about his story, and I want to be teed up for hopefully winter next year. Us playing Final Fantasy VII Reunion? No, not Reunion. Rebirth. Us playing Rebirth.
Yeah.
And so I'm totally into it.
Yeah, and what Greg was saying, even about it being a shorter game for Callisto, it's like this too, because it was an old PSP game. Like I imagine this is going to be like a 11-hour experience.
Oh, hell
and I'm like, let's go, give me that story, give me some fun gameplay, and let's get out of there.
Excited for me isn't the right word. Curiously optimistic. You know what I mean? Where it's like I liked Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's the first Final Fantasy that really clicked with me. And so I'm hopeful that those kind of combat and that I know it's different, I know whatever, but like having those ties to the story I do like, I'm hoping this will work for me. But I'm also not like I can't wait for it. Like I'm more excited for Midnight Suns in December than I am for Crisis Core. In Midnight Suns, I'm actually like car accident excited for. Right? It's like, cause, and I mean, in the way of like, what does that
mean? Okay, everybody, let's take a step back for a second as Greg Miller explains that one.
It could be great.
It's like me the other day being like, you know, I mean, enough with war crimes. And then be like, I don't know if this is what a statement we want to make, Andy.
I'm excited for Midnight Suns in the way that I just don't know what I'm going to get. Like, you know what I mean? Where it kind of honestly, and this isn't a great comparison, but it kind of strikes me in some ways as like Gotham Knights. Where it's like, I'm not asking for this. This isn't the thing I want, but I'm glad you're doing something different. I'm glad people are running in different directions with games. And so let's see what Midnight Suns is. Obviously, a talented team. Obviously, I've enjoyed XCOM before. Using these cards is interesting. It's, you know, a new character you're playing as, but that means you get to interface with the heroes you already know and like, which I have liked and worked, and it has worked in games before. But since I haven't been on sticks with it, I don't know what I feel about it, if I actually want to play that, if I want to stick around with it. But I'm interested in the idea a lot.
Yeah. Does Midnight Suns do anything for you, Andy?
No, but Crisis Core does. Although I Googled how long to beat, and I'm seeing like anywhere from 18 to 77 hours.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it excites me that much.
Did you say 17 to
77?
To 77?
Yeah. To obtain, that's 100% completion.
There's a lot of like ultimate weapons. There's a lot of like fancy shit to do. But like the game's mission based, and because it was PSP, it was portable. So like they designed everything to be a little bit more like
digestible,
chunky and digestible. So
I guess it's such an overprivileged spot to be in that we are with playing games. But it's like I'm way more likely to play Crisis Core if it's an 8 to 10 hour experience than I am if it's an 18 to 20 hour experience.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's mostly because I don't really want to start it and feel like I'm not, you know, I'm in this for the long. If I'm in it for the long haul, then I'm there to beat the game, obviously, but I don't know. I feel like I'm way more likely to play it if it's a bit of a shorter experience, and it seems like it's not, and I don't know if I'm willing to devote that much time to something I'm not just balls to the wall stoked for, you know?
That I think that's the thing that's characterized a lot of the current review season, where like earlier today I sat at my desk and I booted up New Tales from the Borderlands because I was excited for New Tales from the Borderlands. And then like halfway through the first cutscene, I was like, actually, no, never mind. Like this game.
Oh no, really?
Like just then, not even like it wasn't the fault of the game. It was just me thinking about the review scores and me being like, I'm not as excited for this thing as I was before I knew that it was like fine, okay, not, you know, as great as the original Tales. Yeah. So I was like, am I gonna play this thing that is not as good as the first one? Maybe I'll just go back and play other games that I'm reviewing instead. And so yeah, like if with the December slate, right? Like I'm looking at Crisis Core, I look at Need for Speed, I look at High on Life, and I'm like, I don't know if all y'all gonna make it. Like one or two of you guys.
Not everybody's getting out of here alive.
Let's close the episode actually with High on Life. Like, is there anybody here that is like, I'm really got my eyes on this one?
I'm excited for it based on my time with Trover Saves the Universe. Because Trover Saves the Universe is another Squanch game. It was their game before this one. VR game, and it's probably one of my favorite VR experiences. I thought that game was hilarious. Obviously, it's coming from Squanch and people who did Rick and Morty. You know, that same creator / voice actor who does pretty much all the voices, right? Who does the same Morty voice in Trover and is doing the same Morty voice in this as well. I that stuff really works on me. I really like that kind of comedy. I think the art style of this game visually, I think it looks really interesting and cool and different. The gameplay seems fine. Like the gameplay they've shown hasn't blown me away, especially the one boss fight we saw at maybe Gamescom.
That was way too long.
Yeah, like it was long,
That
but
was E3,
also
right? Xbox's E3 thing.
it
They
be
needed to cut
E3.
that shit in half.
It was one of those summer showcases. Like seeing that, I was like, okay, this looks fine to play, but at least maybe fun from a dialogue and just world perspective. I'm into it for that, but yeah, like it's the one that I'm not expecting to set the world on fire.
I'm excited for it only because of its genre. Like, I think if it were another Trover Saves the Universe or another sort of first-person game that isn't necessarily a shooter, but it's kind of like a discoverable walking sim, I'd be a lot less excited for it. But the fact that it's an FPS that it looks like, you're just it's a comical Doom almost. I'm super in, and I'm on my first rewatch of Rick and Morty so far.
Oh yeah.
And I know, like, it's super cool to not like Rick and Morty. Y'all are super cool. Those of y'all who don't like it, y'all are really cool. I'm loving it. Like, I forgot how funny the show actually is and how much it actually makes me laugh. And I'm on season 3 right now. So yeah, I'm stoked for more of that. I like Justin Roiland, and I love his comedic styling. So I'm super in.
There you go. Let us know in the comments below what games you're excited for the rest of the year, and if you think any of them have the potential to enter the Game of the Year conversation. But until next time, remember, you can go to patreon.com/KindaFunny to get all the bonus content, including Kinda Feudy. I'm very excited about that. But until next time, I love you all. Goodbye.